Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Chembe, and today we're going to be making this polo houndstooth shirt dress. The list of supplies will be available in the description box below, and the stitches we're going to use are the single crochet, the double crochet, the slip stitch, front loop single crochet, and back loop single crochet. So a size inclusive written pattern is also available. You'll find it in the description box below in my Ravelry and Coffee stores. You're going to need several measurements. So the measurement you're going to need, the first one is your width, your circumference of your dress, which is either the full hip size if you're making a dress, or full chest if you're making a shirt. The second one is the sleeve. So you're going to take the circumference of that, and then you're going to use this, let's say it's 14, to find 3 more measurements. So the first measurement will be your sleeve divided by 2. That will be from your underarm to your shoulder. So let's say it's 7. The second measurement will be your sleeve divided by 8. That will be the width of your underarm on one side. So that will be like about 1.4. And then the third measurement is half size of the sleeve minus 1. So this will be the depth of the opening of your shirt at the front. So it will be 6 inches. Fourth measurement will be your neck opening. You can measure this from another shirt, or you can measure it. It's usually between 8.5 and 11. So the larger sizes will be 11, and the smaller sizes will be about 8.5. I'm making a medium, and my measurement is 9 inches for the neck opening. The last measurement you're going to need is from your underarm, that's just above your chest, to whatever length you want. So you can make it cropped to the navel, you can make it long to just above your hips, you can make it below your hips, or you can make it long mid-thigh or up to your knees. You're going to start by making a chain in multiples of 4 plus 1 to the size of your hip if you're making a dress, and to the size of your chest if you're making a shirt. I already made my chain of 128 plus 1, it will be 129. The second stitch from the hook, you're going to single crochet in the back bump. If you don't want to make a chain, you can go ahead and work the single crochet foundation chain, which I have a tutorial linked in the card. So go ahead and make a single crochet in the back bumps until the end of the row. We're going to be working in a round, so at the end of the row we're going to join. I normally do this because I don't want to worry about my chain twisting, but if you can join the chain and work in a round, that's also up to you, but it's just a bit more harder. So I'm going to work my single crochet row, then I'm going to come back and we're going to continue together. So I'm now done with my row, and then we're going to join. So we're going to be working in a round for the bottom part of the dress, and then we're going to split to work the sleeve part of the dress, then slip stitch to join, slip stitch in the first stitch. So you're going to have a total number of stitches divisible by 4 in multiples of 4. Then chain 1 and turn. We're going to be turning at the beginning of each row. Then single crochet in the same stitch, and then single crochet in all the stitches all round. And what I do with this is I'm gonna weave it in later. so I just slip stitch it there, and then you can weave it in later. So you're going to single crochet all round until the end of the row, and I'll see you at the end of the row. I'm now at the end of the row, and I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch I made, chain one and turn, and then work another round of single crochet, and we'll continue until I have a total of 10 rows. Then we're going to come back and we're going to start working the houndstooth stitch. Don't forget to turn at the beginning of each row. So I'm now done with my 10 rows, and now we're going to start working the houndstooth. So the houndstooth is alternating single crochet and double crochet in the same row. We're going to be changing colors every row, so I'm using two colors. If you decide to use more than two colors, you still have to change at the beginning of each round, and we're going to work in a round, and we're not going to be cutting the yarn, so we're just going to be carrying it up. There will be no need to cut the yarn. So this is my end. My first row of houndstooth will be in the same main color, so chain one and turn, and we're going to start with a single crochet in the same stitch. And since houndstooth is alternating single crochet and double crochet, the next stitch will be a double crochet, and the next stitch will be a single crochet, and the next one will be a double crochet, single crochet, double crochet. You need to make sure that you're actually alternating so that your pattern doesn't change, because if you make a mistake, if you do two single crochets next to each other, it's going to distort the pattern. I think that's where the pain of houndstooth comes in sometimes, because when you discover a mistake, you have to go back and rework that section in the previous row. Make sure you're alternating the single crochet and the double crochet until the end of the row, and your last stitch should be a double crochet. So let's say you've lost some stitches or whatnot, you have to make sure that your last stitch is a double crochet, since we started with a single crochet. So I will see you at the end of the round, and then I'm going to change to my second color. So I'm now at the end of the round, and I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that I made. This side now will be your wrong side, and now you're going to turn your work, and now we're going to join the second color, and I'm going to join my yarn, make a knot, and pull through. So this is a stitch. We're now just going to drop color one and leave it there. We're going to pick it up when we end the row, and then the first stitch, remember, is a single crochet, so we're going to start with a double crochet in the same stitch. The turning stitch counts as a stitch, by the way. That's why we're crocheting in there. And remember, houndstooth is alternating single crochets and double crochets. So we'll work the double crochet, we're going to work a single crochet, and where there's a single crochet, you're going to work a double crochet. So that's single crochet and then a double crochet, and you're going to continue until the end of the round, and I'm just carrying my yarn to cover it up. So I'm going to see you at the end of the round of the row. I'm now at the end of the round, and this is my last stitch. It's going to be a single crochet because this is a secondary color row, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that very first double crochet that I made. Turn your work and then chain 1. Okay, and then we're going to work another row of houndstooth, and I'm just going to come back and show you how to join here so that you have a clean finish, and then we're going to go off camera and work the chunky part of the dress. So this is the main color round. So we started with a single crochet since this previous stitch was a double crochet, and then a double crochet in the single crochet, and then a single crochet in the double crochet, and a double crochet in the single crochet. And you're going to continue until the end of the round, and I'm going to see you there just to show you how to change the colors here so it doesn't show. Now at the end of the row, and you're just going to slip stitch through the first stitch as you did, chain 1 and turn. Now this is where the trick is. You see that this is the color 2 row, and what we're going to do is, you see that little tail there, what I do is we start with a double crochet in the same stitch, so you yarn over, but when we're working a double crochet, work it around that tail so that it gets hidden, so you don't have tails all over the place, and then continue with your round as usual. So you're going to continue working with this pattern, changing colors at the beginning of each round until you have your measurement from wherever, how long you want it, to your underarm. So let's say you're making a shirt and you want your measurement to be from your upper hip, or if you're working a dress like the one I made, which is my mid thigh to my underarm. So take that measurement, the length of your dress from wherever you want it to be to your underarm. Then we're going to come back and then we're going to split the work and work for the sleeve opening. So I'm going to see when I'm done. It's going to take me a while, but I'll see when I'm done so we can continue. So I'm now done with my dress from the bottom, which is my mid thigh. I'm making a dress, which is this, my mid thigh, upper knee to my underarm. And now we're going to split and work the front separately and the back separately. And to do that, you're going to have to count halfway of your stitches. So exactly halfway is where you're going to split your shirt. So this is halfway my shirt. Make sure that it is exactly half at the front and half at the back. So from here you're going to work the back and the front separately, and for the back you're just going to continue with the pattern, working to the stitch marker and back. So there will be opening on the sides, that will be your sleeve opening, and you're going to work half the size of your sleeve. So whatever your sleeve is, divide that by 2. That will be the length you're going to work for the back. And then the other side will be the front, and with the front we will have to create the opening at the center, which is the depth. Remember, we did half the size of the sleeve minus 1. That will be the opening at the front. So we're going to do that at the front. So we're going to start with the front because I think it's a bit more complicated, and then I'll come back and work the back. So here we're going to pick up the main color, and remember we're turning at the beginning of each round. Still, this is why we were turning. And then you're going to start with a single crochet in the same stitch as we were doing, and then a double crochet, and you're going to work until where you have your stitch marker, or which is halfway your dress shirt. I'm going to work that, and then I'm going to come back so we can continue. So I'm now working my last stitch, and once you get here, you're going to stop here and leave the other stitches unworked. So this will be your back, okay? So you're going to leave the back unworked, and then just pull your yarn as long as you can. Don't cut it off, because now we're splitting, we're no longer working in a round. It's going to complicate things a little bit, but it shouldn't be complicated. So you're going to go back to where you left your other color, and then pick it up, and then chain one and work a double crochet in the same stitch. Remember, the secondary color is, we start with a double crochet. So work a double crochet in the same stitch, and then where you have the double crochet, you work a single crochet, and where you have a single crochet, work a double crochet, and continue with this pattern until you get to where you left your yarn. And I'm going to see you there so I can show you how we're going to be turning and working back and forth. And I'm now at the end of the row, and I'm going to work a double crochet in the last stitch. But before I finish the stitch, I'm going to pick up my color one and finish the stitch. You're going to drop color two and then work with color one, chain one and turn. And we're going to repeat the pattern, work a single crochet in the same stitch, but you see that little tail there, you can work under it and just pick it up like that so that it's kind of hidden. We're going to finish this as edging as well, and then you work a double crochet in the single crochet and then single crochet in the double crochet. So for the front, you're going to work an inch of the pattern, then we're going to split for the opening. Based on my gauge, an inch for me is 3 rows, so this will be the third row to make my inch. Then we're going to split for the front opening. So I'm going to get to the end of the row, and also based on this, we're going to be dropping the yarn at the end of each row and picking it up afterwards the next round. So I'm going to see you when I am at the end of the row, when I've done this row, so that we can work the opening of the shirt. And I'm now at the end of the row, and I'm going to work my single crochet in the last stitch, pull the yarn and drop it. Leave it, we'll pick it up when we come back. So this next round is where we're going to split for the front. We're now going to work the front opening. So the front opening, we're going to leave 6 stitches at the center. So how to identify that is you're going to take your number of stitches, just half of your stitches, not the full, just half. The half you've worked 1 inch for, which is 70 for me, minus 6, which is 64, divided by 2 is 32. So I'm going to count 32 stitches and place a stitch marker. 32. And then from the other side, I'm also going to count 32 stitches. This is going to leave 6 stitches in between. This is going to be the opening of the shirt. So now we're only going to be working this section until you get half the size of your sleeve. Then we're going to come back and work this section until I get half the size of the sleeve, and then work the back. So we're going to continue in the same way. Pick up your color, your yarn, chain 1 and work a double crochet, because the previous start stitch was a single crochet, and then work a single crochet in the double crochet and double crochet in the single crochet to the stitch marker. And this is my very last stitch where I have the stitch marker. I'm going to work a single crochet. So as I said, we're going to work this section until we get to half the size of the sleeve. So when you get here, I would cut, you can start a new ball of yarn or just cut the yarn that you were working with. I'm just gonna cut it and make a knot to close it up. So we're going to pick up this section later when we're done with the first section. So we're going to join the yarn here where we've stopped, because we're only now working this section. So you're going to slip stitch and pull your yarn through, and just pull that yarn out, and then chain 1 and turn. And we're going to work back to the beginning. I'm going to tuck this yarn, this tail in. This last stitch of the previous color is a single crochet. So we're going to start with a double crochet. This is going to happen. Just make sure that you're working a double crochet in the single crochet and single crochet in the double crochet. So you're going to work a double crochet in the same stitch, since it was a single crochet, and then work a single crochet in the double crochet, and then a double crochet in the single crochet until the end. I'm carrying this yarn to just tuck it in so I don't have to weave it in later. And at the end of a row, I'm working my single crochet, pull the yarn and leave it hanging. I'll pick it up on my way back, then go back to the beginning and pick up the other yarn. So this is the pattern we're going to go with, back and forth of the colors until you have half the size of your sleeve. So I'm going to chain 1, right? So the previous stitch was a double crochet, which means this will be a single crochet, and I'm just going to do this to cover my tail a little bit, and then work a double crochet. And at the end of the row, since we have this yarn, we're going to finish the last stitch with the new color, drop with color 1, sorry, drop color 2, chain 1 and turn. And then we're going to continue with this pattern until you have half the size of the sleeve. So whatever you do here, we're going to do on this side as well. So I'm going to go off camera and work this section, and I'm just going to show you how to start this section later. So I'll see you when I'm done. So now I'm done with this one section. This is the full size of my sleeve. At the end, use the main color so that your finishing looks good. So I'm not going to work this section in the same way as this and continue from the same direction. So cut your yarn, just leave some for joining, because we're going to need to join the shoulder part. So I just do triple and then cut. And I'm cutting this yarn and I'll weave it in later. So I'm going to continue from here, and remember where I left the stitch marker, this will be the opening. So don't work the stitches, start in the next stitch and make sure that you're continuing with the same color when we started the split. So it was the second color number 2, and I'm going to join. When you're joining, make sure that you note whether the stitch is a single crochet or a double crochet. So you're going to make a slip knot and pull through and then chain 1. This is a single crochet stitch, so I'm going to work a double crochet in there, and then this is a double crochet. I'm going to work a single crochet and continue until the end of the split. So I'm going to continue until the end. So I'm now at the end of my row, and since we have joined the section, I'm going to join my second color. Slip knot and pull through, and then chain 1. My last stitch was a double crochet, so I'm going to turn, and then we're going to start with a single crochet in the same stitch and then a double crochet to where we started from. So basically you're doing exactly what you did on this side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to finish working this section. I'll work the same number of rows, which is 23 rows. So make sure the number of rows is exactly the same. For the back, you're going to work the whole section without the split. So you're just going to join your yarn and work this section the same number of rows you worked from here to the shoulder. So I'm not going to come back and explain this again. When you're done with the front, work the back, the full back, with the same number of rows you worked at the front. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to join together and then finish. So I'll see you when I'm done. I'm now done with my dress. Don't cut your yarn. Remember I said you should finish with the main color. Don't cut the main color when you're done, but you can cut the color to the secondary color. And just make a knot and you're going to weave that in. So don't cut it because we're going to use it to join, and we're going to join this way as well, and we're going to use the slip stitch. And how you and we're going to use a slip stitch, and then we're going to use a join, but you need to calculate how many stitches to join. So this is what you do. So I'm now done with my dress to the shoulder, and these are my sleeve openings, and now we're going to split for the neck opening. So how you're going to do it is you're going to take your number of stitches, half the number of your stitches, right? Half the number of your stitches. So we're now going to, and I've already split for my neck opening, and how I did it is I took a measurement for my neck opening, which is about 9 inches, and then counted the number of stitches here, and then take your full number of stitches, half on the one side, so that's half, and then deduct your neck opening, whatever the answer is, divide that by 2. So that's where you're going to place your stitch markers. For example, if you have 140 stitches in total, which you started with, you divide that by 2, so that will be 70 stitches. Minus my neck opening, I have 28 stitches for my neck opening. So in total, I have 42 stitches left. And then I divide that by 2. That's 21. So I'll have 21 stitches from the corner to the neck opening. And I count both sides, 21 stitches, and place a stitch marker. And now I'm going to join. So you're going to turn your work to the wrong side, which you would have decided at the beginning of your work. So to join, we're going to slip stitch. So you insert your hook in the last stitch and insert your hook to the other side of your work and pull through, and then insert through both loops on both sides and pull through. So just do this until you get to where you have your stitch marker. So now I've joined my top part, and now we're going to turn it back to the right side, and everything else we're going to do to finish will be worked from the right side. So the first thing you're going to do is we're going to start with the sleeves. So to finish the sleeves, you're going to join your yarn at the base there. You can join it here as well, which is fine, but I like hiding my seams as much as possible. So I'm going to put it here so that it's under the sleeve. So join your yarn with your main color at the base, and then chain 1. We're going to work a round of single crochet, all the stitches across, and the stitches is you're going to follow the rows to work with. So you're going to work a single crochet in each stitch, starting from where you've joined the yarn, and then single crochet in the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next stitch. Next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. I'm now at the end of my row, and I'm going to slip stitch into that first stitch that I made. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn, and you're going to work 9 more rounds of single crochets, making it out of 10. the same as the ones we started with, and then do the same on the other side of the sleeve, and then come back and we're going to work the front and the collar. So I will come back to work the front and the collar. To work the opening, we're going to work on this side and on that side separately. So the first thing we're going to do is, remember those stitches we left, the 6 stitches, 1 2 3 4 5 6 that we left. You're going to join your yarn, and you're still working on the right side of your shirt dress. Join your yarn in the front loop. Okay, so you're not going to go through both loops, only in the front loop, and then chain 1 and then single crochet in the same stitch. Then that's stitch number 1. Then in the front loop, single crochet in the 5 stitches, 2 3 so how many stitches? And then slip stitch into the next stitch and the next stitch. So once you slip stitch, you don't chain 1, you just turn and then skip the slip stitch and work single crochet in the 6 stitches. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Chain 1 and turn, single crochet in the same stitch, and then the next 5 stitches. And 6, slip stitch into the next row, to the next stitch, and then slip stitch into the next stitch and turn, slip all the slip stitches, don't chain 1, and then single crochet in the 6 stitches. So you basically have to single crochet, you basically have to have 6 stitches every time you're working your piece. Chain 1, turn, single crochet in the same stitch, and then in the 5 stitches, slip stitch into the next stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch, and turn. And continue like this until you get to the corner. So I'm going to finish off camera and I'm going to come back and we're going to work the other side together. And at the end, you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch and then the corner of your first round of the top, turn and work the 6 stitches and 6, and you're done, and you're gonna cut your yarn. The other side will be the same. The only difference is we're going to start working it from inside. So still on your right side, you're still going to work from your right side. You're going to go inside. Remember when we did the front loop on that side? there were back loops left, so we're going to start working from those back loops only. So you're going to join your yarn through the loop, chain one, and then work a single crochet in the same stitch. Then work single crochet in the next 5 stitches to have a total of 6. And 6. And then you're going to slip stitch into the stitch and then into the next stitch. In the same way we worked here, we're going to be working a row in the main color row. Don't chain one and turn, skip the slip stitches and work your 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain one and turn, work 6 stitches, starting with a stitch in the same chain 1 stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Slip stitch into the next stitch and the next stitch, turn, don't chain one and work your 6 stitches. So we're basically doing exactly the same thing that we did on the other side. So you're going to continue until you get to the corner and cut your yarn. Then we're going to come back and we're going to work the collar. So the collar will be the very last thing you work, to just make sure that everything is even. So I'm going to see you when I'm done with this section to work the collar. 20 rows. So I'm now done with this side. I finished it. And now we're going to do the collar. So to do the collar, we're going to start from here. So we're not going to do the collar from here. We're going to start it from this corner, work around and back. So you're going to join your yarn in the corner. So to work the corner, you're going to join your yarn on the corner of your collar, right? Make a slip knot on the corner, chain one, and work a single crochet in the same stitch. Then you're going to work in the front loops until the end of the row. So not through both loops, the front loops, single crochet in the front loops all around. We're doing this so that we're able to fold the collar when it's done. So work around all the stitches until the end of the row, and then we can continue working the collar. So I'm now at the end of the row and I've worked exactly the same as this side. So you're going to stop here, chain one and turn, and then you're going to work a round of single crochet. You're going to start with a single crochet in the same stitch and then single crochet all around, and you're working through both loops and not the front loop or the back loop only. So the second round you're working through both loops, and I'll see you at the end of the row. I'm now at the end of the row. I've worked 2 rows. So now I'm just going to continue with the single crochet until I have a total of 20 rows, and then you're done. You can cut off your yarn and weave in your ends. If you love the houndstooth stitch, check out the video on the screen for the houndstooth crochet sweater with a hoodie. Until next time, thanks for watching.